being recorded. Cool. That means that everybody who is not on the show live gets to listen to the replay, and you're going to love the show so much that you're going to want to listen to it over and over again, because in the house, I have the most beautiful person inside and out with the most incredible voice, Kristina Huffman, and I can hardly wait to get the show ongoing. But I want to also welcome anybody who's new to the show. This is A Dose of Positivity, and I am your host, Donna Maltz. And I think this is our 97th show, and we're thrilled to have you join us here. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channels. We'll have them all in the chat there so you don't miss an episode. I also want to remind everybody that this is a live show, and we invite you to come on stage. You just raise your hand, or please put your comments also in the chat. And if you have any questions or insights, it is all valuable, and we will bring it to the discussion. So thank you so much for participation. Participation is the key to life. If we don't participate, well, what happens? And today we are going to be having a huge opportunity to participate with Kristin, because she is going to be leading us through some of her beautiful sonic healing music. So about halfway into the show, you're going to all be invited to either put on your headsets or just get super cozy. And we are going to invite you to participate and sing along with this improv chanting that she's going to be blessing us all with. But while people are coming to the house, welcome. I am going to read something very inspiring from one of my books, as I often do. And this one is from Living Like the Future Matters, The Evolution of a Soil to Soul Entrepreneur. And it's going to open up some discussion. So Kristin, I hope you find this inspiring as well. So this is one of my quotes, and this is the chapter is Soil to Soul Music. High vibrational music opens our souls to the universal moving body and mind and raises them to new heights. Rhythm stirs. Imagination brings the beat of the heart to the surface. Unquote. The language of music is one of the most effective ways to communicate a message to millions, regardless of your faith, your race, or economic position. It stirs up all kinds of emotions. It bridges gaps. It shapes cultures. And it helps get us past the division we have created amongst ourselves. Music brings us together. And I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for everybody who's here live and listening to us on either LinkedIn or the Facebook channels. Welcome. We are about to embark on this wonderful interview with Kristina, and I'm just going to share with you a little bit about what she has done in her career and life. Kristin is a Juilliard-trained singer and a conscious musician. She channels her passion for peace and earth and ocean conservation into her music. As the vocalist for the acclaimed show BELLA GAIA, she creates sonic emotional spaces for connection and for healing. Kristin has performed worldwide, from TEDx San Francisco to the Sydney Opera House. She really recently composed the Holomovement's anthem and released an album titled Rise and Shine in June of 2023. It is a soundtrack for the human spirit and for your journey of inner alchemy. She helps us to reawaken the code of our souls and our aspirations through sonic portholes. Deep immersion listening is in a quiet space is recommended for this whole entire show. So you guys, listening is incredibly important, and we're going to talk all about that. Kristin, welcome to A Dose of Positivity.
So great to be here. Thank you, Donna. And I loved the reading about music and how it brings us together from your beautiful book. It's such an honor to be here and talking about conscious music and how to catalyze your unique passions and gifts, which whenever I share my number one intention and mantra for myself is, may I open a space that feels so loving and peace-filled that those who are in that space remember more of who they are and feel re-sparked in the creative visions of your path. So my hope today is that as we talk, as we share music, that you feel those bits of you that are your unique gifts light up.
Ah, that is so beautiful. What a great invitation. And you guys, in about 15, 20 minutes, we are going to dive into some real voice on exercises that you'll all be able to participate. And I just want to welcome the new people onto the show. Thank you so much for being here, and in Facebook as well. Kristin, tell me, like, before we dive into this, how did you get into this? This is, and singing in the Sydney Opera House and all the amazing things you've been composing all these years. How did you get into all of this?
Well, I would say music was always in me. Actually, my very first memory of feeling an aha moment kind of around music was actually when I was in preschool, and they brought in this woman. I was about 2.5 going to this, or 3 going to this little Montessori school, and they brought in this woman to sing with us one day, and she had this resonant, beautiful voice. She seemed like almost like an opera singer, and I remember standing up and feeling those waves of energy and actually thinking, oh, I do this. This is part of who I am, even at that young age. And even though music wasn't often played in my house, at age 3, I started asking my parents to play. And I started with a little violin, and then at 4, I moved to piano. And I stuck with piano for years, and eventually really began singing and studying opera and classical music. And I think I discovered my improvisational style, and I discovered songwriting actually as a little bit of a rebellion against growing up in the classical world, where everything is about perfection and playing things exactly, practicing them so many times and then executing a perfect performance. And that felt, I think, to my young growing self a bit intense and stifling. And I would have to practice a couple of hours a day. And so in my little rebellion, I would start sneaking in some improvisation and some of my own little songwriting in between, until I heard my mom yell from the kitchen, "Kristin, get back to your lesson." And eventually I just started to fall in love with this idea of being in an improvisation, writing a song from my heart. And I would wake up on the weekends really early and then go into deep dive music mode. And I would say by the time I was a teenager, it really became evident, this is my path. However, what I'm doing today, which I would describe as conscious music for awakening, whether I'm playing songs that I've written or solome pieces, like improvisational journeys like I'll share today. It took me a bit longer to really discover this new pathway of my soul. In my 20s, I spent most of my 20s actually, I would say, following the societal idea of what success is in the music industry. I signed my first record deal with Capitol Records when I was 20. I was with them for a few years. Then I was on Interscope Records for a few years, and I was making records and working with amazing people, but in a very mainstream kind of way. And it was rewarding. It taught me a lot, but ultimately I felt like there was this cap on my expression of soul and music from the soul. And when I finally parted ways with Interscope Records, immediately it was like, whatever your belief system is, I feel like I have a team of guides working with me, my spirit guides. Immediately, within about a week of letting go and being released from that last contract, different cues started to come in. Oh, Kristin, will you write for an organization that write songs for children who are having health challenges. Oh, Kristin, these opportunities started to flood in, and I went down this new journey, and I started listening to where I was being guided. And what I really immediately realized is I'm being guided into new musical realms that are based around peace, healing, raising our vibration, music for meditation, music for deep visioning. And it became very clear that this is my path. And so since then, I've been just on this ongoing exploration and discovery. And I can't imagine a more rewarding path than to wake up every day and be using resonance, using sound as a vehicle for both my own growth, but to also connect with others and to help be a vehicle of connection in the world. So I hope that gives a little taste.
Oh my
It's been an
gosh.
interesting road because I would have, as a younger person, I would have never imagined that I would be where I am now. And yet when I look back, I realize, oh, every little step was the perfect recipe for helping me to evolve at the right time so that I could really show up in the way I feel I am meant to show up in my soul's mission.
I just love everything you're saying right there, and even for people who don't have the vocal capacity that you do, and there are so many just ways, everything you just said, just helping other people relate and just to open up to knowing who you are, what you love to do, and what your purposeful why is, and not allowing anybody from your mom to these record label companies to all the pressure you must have felt to crush that spirit. And being a woman, and it's just like just exercising your freedom. And I so love hearing you
Yeah.
say that. So now, how did it feel? I just have to ask this, like when you walked away or from these record deals and stuff, was there a sense of insecurity, or like what or were you just totally like, I mean, I know you said yeah, but I mean, all of a sudden you're just like, that was a big door to close and to allow another to open.
It was a big door to close. And, you know, it was a sequence of multiple different events that eventually led to realizing, oh, this is not the ultimate path for me. With Capitol Records, it was really a logistical thing where my A&R, the man who signed me on that label, actually went to work at another record label. And for those who are familiar with the record industry, usually it's kind of like the person who signs you is your team guide. And when you lose that person, it's really hard often to keep a project going. And so that happened at Capitol Records. And to be totally honest, I was only, 22 and a half when that ended up not working out. And I had to go through a deep amount of disappointment and feeling like the shattered dreamer in me was questioning, oh, what's next? What's going to happen? And I didn't understand at the time why that wasn't working the way I always thought it should. And there was a lot of mourning over letting go at age 22 and a half as I looked forward into the future, like what's next. However, after that album fell through, I rediscovered a connection with music that I don't think I would have had had I not gone through that first heartbreak. And it empowered me. And I actually made my first record, and you can find it on whatever your favorite online platform is. I made my first kind of full-length record on my own, producing it over the summer, and then going into a really beautiful studio for mixing and whatnot, called Divided Heart. And I feel like that record is very important to me. It still resonates with deep voices of truth. And actually I started doing so well with that's what actually attracted the next record company to come. And had I truly been able to listen to my internal compass at that time, I probably would have chosen to veer off into the more of the direction I'm in now. But I was still young, and I was still attracted. You know, I was still very lured by the the idea of the music industry, and to my young self, it still felt like, yes, this is the way to do it. But I went into the second record deal with more awareness that, okay, let's see how this goes. And I had a much more, like you said, a freedom. The second record deal, I had a much more free experience. I wrote the record I wanted to write. It was called Real. You can also find that online. It was authentic songs about being real, moving from your heart, experiencing life as an authentic being. And I felt passionate about it. And then I was there for 3 years of my life. And then, again, music industry things. It was right during that time of Napster and all of that. I was touring, and it just ultimately didn't work out. But there were so many different ingredients in that not working out. But, and after I knew, okay, we are parting ways, this is going to be a new beginning. That's when, within a week, it was just all of these new opportunities. I really felt like, oh, Spirit is sending in a new direction. Spirit is calling in these signs that I cannot miss, so that I'm going to be on the right course.
I love it. And one of our listeners, Alan, wrote, connecting with the music of the spheres. Like, you went way beyond what you thought was the limits, and followed your heart. And that's what we always do here on A Dose of Positivity. I mean, how can you feel positive really when you're not following your inner core and your heart? Right?
Completely. And I think that just learning to listen and beginning to understand the way resonance works with our bodies, with our souls. Music can really be this beacon of light and love, of healing, a healing immersion for your heart, for your body, for your spirit. And in the mainstream world, I think music is looked at in a slightly different way. But when we consciously tune in, there's this whole other capacity.
Right. Music for change. Look that up, TJ or Chen. Music for Change. I meant to put that in there. That it's a global platform where musicians all over the world get together and they zoom in and play these songs, and they're all about peace and love, and everything you just said is so right on. I mean, they're not in the traditional music business, and they went viral, and they're trying to change the world one song at a time. John Lennon, Imagine, and just imagine what you're doing is a whole different realm. And recently I've just gotten into mantra singing and all of the sound and the 512 gigs and all the different resonance of sound, and how they vibrationally affect our, like you said just earlier, you can heal your body, your mind, your soul, and it goes tribal. I mean, people have been playing music since people were just whatever, since the beginning of time. Music has shaped cultures and communities. So I just want to, just before we go into you sharing your beautiful voice with us and sound healing, and everybody, you guys, I want to give you some minute to just get settled in and find some headsets or headphones and just a comfortable place, and be willing to open your heart, to open your mouths and feel this vibration go through your body. But I want to talk about this first, because me saying this, and then there's this background in probably half the people listening right now is like, but I can't sing. I don't play an instrument. I don't know. I like to listen to music, but so I wanted to go into like that, or the adage, like why people can't sing, and also talk about the perception of, and the value of listening.
Yes. Yeah. Well, firstly, I think we're living in the first time in human history where this idea that music or singing is for professionals has been um, has been believed by humans, shared and believed by humans. Uh, I can't tell you how many students I've worked with through the years who have said, "Oh, someone told me when I was young not to sing, or that I had a bad voice." And there's this idea that unless you have this perfect voice and that you're a professional singer, that you shouldn't sing. And that is just the most ridiculous concept. Singing, your voice is your most primal instrument. It is your unique instrument. And throughout human history, we've been singing together. We've been passing the lineages of our ancestors on through song, through our voices. We learn to harmonize through singing together. We learn to listen through singing together. We feel the rhythms in our being and align with nature through singing together. Singing is one of the most important parts of, I would say, of life that I could recommend everyone start to activate within themselves. And maybe you don't feel comfortable singing in front of others, but sing in your own time. Go for a walk in the woods. Sing. Start to just use your voice. Make some strange sounds. Sing in the shower. Sing along to your favorite album. Using your voice and just beginning to listen and understand your own resonance, I feel is one of the most important and intimate discoveries of your being. It is a bridge between your soul self and your body self. Yes, I could go on and on about singing and just, I just really, even as I'm playing today, I want to invite those who are listening that in your own spaces, maybe sing along, weave with me. I'm going to be playing an improvisational journey today, and it might be a space that you just start hearing your voice and feel free to express. You brought up another amazing point, which is about listening. And I think that intentional listening is such an important part of receiving music and setting intentional spaces for listening and really receiving the resonance is as important as the sound that actually comes through to fill those spaces. You know, we're so used to, in kind of mainstream music world, we're used to active listening or putting on music while we're doing something, and that's all great. There's time and place for that as well. I love to put on great music while I'm cooking and or just put on music and dance around. That's beautiful. But for healing, when we're really looking at music for healing and for conscious awakening, the idea of setting your space for intentional listening is such a beautiful practice. Like, I have candles on. I light candles. I clear the space. I take some deep breaths. I might get my favorite set of headphones. Maybe there's a little scent that you love, but just really preparing yourself to receive music. Lying down. I love lying down and listening to music. But just really questioning with yourself, oh, what would really serve me so that I can be most easeful as I receive this resonance? Mm-hmm. And that is, to me, what intentional listening is all about. Really, as I'm traveling through the music as well, this whole process of solom that I'm going to share today. Solom is the word that I call my improvisational style, sol being light, weaving with om, the vibration of the universe. So it's light and sound weaving, doing a dance. As I'm in that journey, one of the most important parts for me to discover where it's going is the listening. It's like this, it's almost like this toroidal journey where I'm expressing, and then I'm going within and listening. Oh, what's coming up now? Oh, where's this going? Expressing. And so taking that time and the space to really listen, even within the creative flow, I think is so important.
I just, my heart is just like filled right now. I feel so blessed by soul om. Oh, what a word. That is so like where we're about headed right now. And so what if I know it's going to take you a minute or two to get you set up with your headphones, and everybody, I invite you to get super comfortable. And I'm just going to go over a few really quick announcements while you're getting ready to go. First of
Perfect.
all, everybody who is listening live, I want you to think about, just love and light while we're going through this, and also to remember Tell. We'll put her GoFundMe in the chat. Tell is still in China, and for those of you who know and love her, she is doing better, but prayers and your support is so appreciated. We're also going to put in the chat this week's blog. If you haven't read it already, it's a really good blog on music and sound. And you'll get to hear the replay from Chandler's the last episode. Encourage all of you to like and subscribe to all of our channels, whether it's YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, and leave your comments and your love and your blessings. And I also wanted to make another really cool announcement. It's my birthday on Sunday. And so this is kind of like my birthday show. And I'm super excited because like just thinking about the song Happy Birthday, right? So all of you can sing because all of you have sung Happy Birthday to somebody in your life over the years and will continue to do so. So with Kristin giving us these tools, you can take your Happy Birthday song to another level. And I am so excited. So just like bring us in, honey. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. And we'll come back. We've got a few more questions for you after everybody get ready to dive deep.
Okay, so as we're going into this Solom space, and Donna, I'm going to recommend that you actually mute your microphone just so that the music comes really clear. Thank you, beloved. As we're going into this Solom space, let's just begin by taking one deep cleansing breath together. And we're going to really presence ourselves into this breath and let go of anything that came before or anything that is coming later, any to-dos, just one deep cleansing, presencing breath that calls us into this moment so that we can be present and fully open our hearts and receive this sound. So breathing in and exhaling. I fully believe that this conscious space of sound is a co-creation. So as I'm playing, I want to invite you to both receive and send your loving intentions into the field, or your questions, or whatever is coming up for you. Send your visions into the conscious field, and together we will manifest this light vibrational journey. Here we go. We'll see. Sometimes there's words, sometimes there's no words. We'll see what wants to emerge. wings of love tonight. We're finding a way into flight. We're finding a way into flight. singing your song, singing your song tonight. Feel it rise up from deep inside. Your unique love, your unique light. We're singing a song tonight. There's a chorus of voices, and we're harmonizing. We're singing a song tonight. We're singing a song in this chorus of voices. We're harmonizing. The frequencies rising straight up through the trees. We're feeling so free in this chorus of voices rising, coming alive. We're remembering all that we go, remembering the journey of our bright star. Now just take a moment and breathe that in. Breathe in the resonance. Breathe in the visions that may have come. Breathe in the messages that either resurfaced or floated by, that came into your view, into your listening, into your heart. Breathe in that life, that light that you are, that resonance that you are, that frequency that is singing out your unique encoding through this lifetime. Breathing in that gratitude, the deepest gratitude for this opportunity to show up in this journey, for all the learning, all the growth, and for all the challenges that come. Breathing in that gratitude for all expressions of resonance, that each expression, even if dissonant, is here to serve us, to teach us, to prepare us for what is coming. Breathing in our ability to harmonize with others, with the earth. Our beautiful ability to listen and harmonize. Harmonize within our bodies. Harmonize with the living cosmos inside. We get to be both conductor of this inner cosmos, and we get to be an orchestra member of the larger cosmos. And just so much gratitude to each and every one of you who are listening. Thank you for being on my path. Thank you to Donna. And I think we'll open up to a bit more sharing now at this time. I think, Donna, you're still muted.
I am. I'm speechless. You took me to a whole nother place of just, I'm very emotional, tears, and I just can't tell you, I could listen to that every day. And I hope some of you, you know, got, I know some of you got, how could you not get benefits from that? And the healing vibration, just incredible waves of energy through me. And that's Soul On right there. That's your new album, Soul On.
Yes, I'm planning to do another album. I have one Solome album out called Solome Songs of Light. And actually, all of those Solome pieces were birthed live during in-person journeys where I had everyone lying down. And I took my favorites and they became the album Solome Songs of Light. And I'm getting ready to birth another Solome album using this kind of choral looping Solome experience that I've been working with for a while now. And I'm calling it Solome Chorealis. So that'll be birthing over the next year.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, we'll have you back on for sure, and you'll have to grace us with some of the new music. And I know that one of the things that gets lost a lot of times is, you know, how do we support someone like a solo musician? And usually I don't promote, you know, like, but I know some of the people are having questions they want to hear. And one of the things that we put the website in there, you guys, she's got some incredible songs on there, but how can people support you and your journey and your music?
Oh, thank you, Donna. Well, you can go to KristinHoffman.com, which I think TJ will put in the chat. But just for those who are listening later, it's KristinHoffmann, 2 N's at the end, .com, KristinHoffman.com. And there I have a lot of videos. I have a lot of the music. I'm constantly updating with events. I have a monthly gathering online, which is very beautiful, called, I have a membership called My Sonic Soul Family. And every month I have a live gathering online, which is a mix of, there's always a Solome piece, there is another song piece, and there's a theme every month, and we share through music and then deep dialogue. And so there is a chance in every month to share around the theme of the month. And that is something that all members get to attend. And it's really been such a beautiful time of sharing. And it's a great way to support me. I feel like it benefits all. It's a total win-win, the Sonic Soul Family experience. It's definitely taught me a lot and just really been such a beautiful space of growth and healing in my life over the last couple of years. Another place where you can find my music, if for those of you who are familiar with Bandcamp, I actually put a lot of the music that I'm working on that's not fully out on albums yet, or a lot of the music I do I do a lot of work with organizations around peace and consciousness, and a lot of those theme songs or those songs for upliftment and joy and peace are put on Bandcamp first before I have enough of them to make an album. And so if you go to my Bandcamp page, which is just kristinhoffman.bandcamp.com, you'll find both my albums and a lot of music that's not out there far and wide yet. So I'd say those are the best spots to find me in to begin. And thank you.
Wonderful. Well, just we only have a few minutes left, and I'm in such a trance. You know, it's so interesting. Like, I should have known better, because I am a meditator and I do mantra and breathing every day. And I know it puts me, I don't want to say comatose, but a really chill space. And most
Yeah.
people know me on the show, on my regulars, I get pretty excited, pretty hyped up, but I am not there, guys. I am definitely in the solo mode. Um, but I would love for you to leave us all with some tips and things that we can all do, some exercises or projects, or just things that give us the confidence to
Mhm.
use our voice. And before you do that, I want to say something really important for all you people who snore or have sleep apnea, because I do have sleep apnea. Um, One of the things that I have learned, because we're here about healing, we're here about social and environmental justice, and we got change makers and all this. But if we don't have our health, right, we can't change the world. And breath is the number one key thing. We can't breathe, we die. We don't have water, we die, right? So, but what I have found out, and to be true in my sleep apnea, has improved substantially. They were shocked 5 years later after I started doing breathing exercises and chanting, that my sleep apnea has gotten so much better.
Wow.
So if you're a snorer, you have sleep apnea, you have asthma, um, I can't stress enough how from my own experiences and from the research I did, because I was reading about this, I was going, this really helped me. I can't sing. I have a lousy voice, right? One of those people. And now, man, I'm singing all day.
Yeah.
So, and my
So
sleep
beautiful.
apnea has improved. So, thank you for bringing us through the breath and showing us how important that was in that warm up. So, give us some more
Yeah.
exercises, things that we can try.
So, number one, I would say is create a little time every day or put on your calendar a few times per week where you could call it conscious listening or something like that, where just as you would practice meditation or you'd practice breathing, you literally choose 15, 20 minutes where you're going to put on some very beautiful music and just listen with a total presence and awareness. It can be a great way to meditate as well. Sometimes I'll alternate between meditating in silence and meditating with beautiful music, and I find it kind of invokes a different feeling in my being. One thing I would say is always have a little journal present when you're listening to music, when you open up conscious music listening spaces, either through activating your own voice and singing along to mantra or just singing. I find, and with many people I've worked with, that the most incredible visions, memories, ideas start to come through. And they're often so potent that we feel that, oh, we'll never forget that. So when I do sound baths with people, at the end they're telling me the most incredible visions that are coming through. And I say, before you go back into the world of doing right now, get your journal or your phone, or always have a little memo, something that you can take a memo in, and journal and write about what comes through when you set yourself up for these through the doorway of conscious listening. These visions that come through, I think, in the frequency space are so informed with high vibration. A lot of times in inspired listening spaces, I've found my next vision for my path or my ideas that come through. So really support yourself to capture your visions. As far as singing, I would say look in your communities.
Mm.
Are there, I just went to a gathering in my community of mostly women and some men a couple of weeks ago. And this whole community is about every voice matters. Everyone has a unique voice. And was about 40 people gathered to really just sing together, sing beautiful songs, sing mantra, sing original songs. And I watched each person take a turn voicing themselves, and then there would usually be a part where the group could come in and join, and it was so beautiful and so empowering. And I think these days there are many of these circles arising, either at local yoga centers or on community WhatsApp boards for healing. There are often these song circles that you can join, And I think that the joy that comes through those spaces is immense. There's also, I see advertisements for drum circles all the time. That's another great way. If you're not activating your voice, you can just activate the rhythmic pattern within you and have fun playing drum. Even just, finding the beat and go and starting simple. You can engage in music and practice both listening to a group and then playing your part. Like I said before, when you're in a space in nature, I think nature is a beautiful place to practice using your voice. So either go out and earth and you get the benefit of earthing while you're doing a little singing. And maybe you bring out a favorite, mantra piece and you're earthing and listening and you just use that as the guide and start chanting. There's so many ways to do it. I think that it just is about starting. A lot of times we have this idea of perfection in our being. It's been implanted throughout years of societal programming. Let's get perfection out the door. We are in a process. We're in a journey. We're in a journey of discovery. There's no perfection. We're going to make they're not even mistakes. We're going to explore all different expressions of sound. Some will sound weird and dissonant, and some will sound beautiful. And if we just allow ourselves the beauty of allowing to start, that is the key. Once we start, usually we find the joy and it's infectious and we just feel like, oh, I want to do more of that. It's like the sweetest perfume. And it just boosts your whole experience as a being. So just start. I am a person who, in earlier parts of my life, I would wait so long to do things because I just would want them to be perfect. And as I've practiced improvising more, I've learned, you know what? So much beauty comes through the doorway of just beginning. So that's those are some of my best tips.
I love every single one of them. That is so great. And you guys remember that we all beat to a different drummer, right? So just everything you were saying, ditto, like so profoundly helpful. And while you were talking, you guys, I just put in this thing about beating to a different drummer in the chat.
I love it.
But I also added kirtan singing, which is the voice of yoga. These are just other tips or places where people can find music. And I'm super devoted to Insight Timer. I listen to it 365 days of the year. I put that link in there, and also playing for change. So that will get you singing, and you will sing with people from around the world. And that it is like, just like from the beginning when I read that, I mean, it is the language that bridges all the gaps of racism, prejudice, hatred, music. And when you listen to Kristin and you just, like one of our listeners, again, he asked, do you know what frequency that you're singing on? Let me make sure I get that exactly right, what you said here, Alan. Everything has a vibrational frequency. He says, yes. Do you know the frequency? Do you know that? Can you feel the power, the energy that you portray?
Oh, well, I know what key I'm singing in, which has a certain frequency. Like I was just working in the key of G, which has its own frequency. And depending on what you're tuning to, G might have a different frequency for some rather than others. Like we could have a whole other talk about this topic of how we tune, right? A lot of times these days, I'm sure you've heard of 432 hertz versus 440 tuning. Yeah.
Yes.
So even though I'm playing a G, there are many theories these days that at some point in time, the note that we tune to was moved from 432 hertz to 440. So, which has offset the vibration a bit. So depending on how my instrument is tuned, even if I'm in a certain key, it could be off by a certain hertz level. So, but it would be interesting I wish I had a little meter. It would be so amazing to have a meter in the corner of the screen, which could literally show the hertz levels as I go. Maybe I can figure that out in the future.
Oh God, that would be very cool.
That would be
Yeah,
amazing.
it is really that all these different frequencies, right? That I'm so glad you brought that up. And you know, when we come back and have you on when your new album comes out, I would just love to dive into that a little bit deeper. The whole idea of frequency, because it's like the whole idea of we all beat to a different drummer, or we all have a different vibration or a different energy, and it like you said over and over again, find your own voice. And you sang about it when you shared that with us. And I am just so honored to have you on the show. I am so
Oh,
grateful for the work that you're doing, all the peace and the love for the planet. I encourage each and every one of you to go to the website, continue listening, support her, Kristin, on Bandcamp or whatever. Um, Give a shout out, everybody, right now. Yay, beautiful.
thank
Um,
you.
Thank you so much. And I just want to also thank everybody who came on live, Facebook, and also listening to the replay on LinkedIn. Just thank you so much for honoring us here at A Dose of Positivity, where I love to bring people forward who are doing these blessings, giving us these blessings in the world. Spread the love, spread the light, and share this songs, this beautiful interview with everybody you know. And I just want to say again to you, Kristin Hoffman, thank you so much, and aloha.
Aloha. Such a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you. Happy birthday, Donna. Blessings for Tell in the chat.